here we are back in the limelight. Yes, again, at the top of the hour, we call it, we're going live Wednesdays. I'm not going to be doing a lot of recording anymore. We're just going to do it because it's the quickest way to get things done. And everybody doesn't get, too far into the queue that it doesn't make sense anymore. So I love going live, and what we're going to keep continuing to do. I do want to remind you that you're going to be able to see these shows on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Google Play, Dailymotion, and 100 other smart TV apps. So we're really thrilled about the growth that's happening there. The podcasts are on Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, and Pandora. So really exciting stuff there. The magazine, I do want to remind you, this is probably going to be the last day you're going to be seeing this magazine. It is, or this cover, it is in the limelight with Clarissa, intelligent media for the savvy entrepreneur. Mr. Orazio Pagani has been our cover person for the last 3 months. He is a supercar and a hypercar maker out of Italy, good friend of mine, and a fabulous interview. This next edition of the magazine, we are going to see Lady Carnarvon on the cover. Lady Carnarvon, I shouldn't tell, but it's such a beautiful cover. I'm getting so excited about it. We drop it on March 1st, so we're real close to dropping Lady Carnarvon and her lovely 2-page spread in the magazine. Lady Carnarvon and her husband Lord Carnarvon own Highclere Castle. That is the Downton Abbey Castle. So excited about that as well. Don't forget, I keep reminding everybody, and I really want you to get over and take a good look at mynewsdesk.com. mynewsdesk.com is a place that I go to. It's changed the trajectory of my business as far as putting out PR releases and news releases, being able to interact with hundreds of thousands of journalists all over the world, and billions of sources. I said with a B, it is billions of sources you're going to be able to monitor. And it's also kind of a great way that, as I've been reminded to, sort of keep up on what your competition is doing also. So don't forget to get over. I shouldn't say that, but it's kind of true. I mean, it's business, right? So mynewsdesk.com, you're going to want to get over there. And last but not least, pressreader.com. Pressreader.com is now giving us the possibility to be able to be seen with our magazine to millions of people all over the world. You get over to pressreader.com and you're going to see every legacy magazine, newspaper, again, publications from all over the world. Well, let's get to it, shall we? Because I've got a really extraordinary entrepreneur, as I like to say, with us again today. And we have scheduled and rescheduled this interview because we had some technical issues last time. But you frequently ask me about writing a book, and you want to write a book, and I'm not really the book person, but my today's guest is, and I'm bringing on Susan Pohlman. There she is, Susan Pohlman in all her glory. She's in Phoenix, Arizona too, everybody. We only met one time, but we've spoken many times and made fast friends. And she is the GOAT. First of all, she's an amazing writer, all on her own. So she's written a book called, her last publication is called A Time to Seek, Meaning, Purpose, and Spirituality at Midlife. And then she's written another book that I know we're going to talk about today because we have that whole Italian thing in common, Susan and I do, and it's called Halfway to Each Other. So welcome to the show, first off. And
Marissa, thank you for having me. This is so exciting for me to be here with you.
It really is. It really is exciting because you are it when it comes to writing. Your books are extraordinary. You have written 2 of them that took place in Italy. And I think that's kind of where we first met some years ago with that connection. I'm going to ask a silly question. Why Italy? But I would like to have your answer to that question.
Well, I'll tell you, it all started about 15 years ago. My husband and I, this is a crazy story. We were at a crossroads in our marriage. Should we stay married? Should we, the usual. And we decided, instead of getting divorced, that we were going to sell everything and do the old, pull up stakes and move to Italy. Okay. And the crazy part of it is that we didn't plan that. Actually, we were on a business trip. We were hosting clients. We made a snap decision in 4 days. You know what? We fell in love with where we were. We were actually standing in Santa Margherita in Liguria, and said, let's just move right here where we're standing, get our act together, start over. And we did. Within 2 months, we had our kids there. We rented an apartment, put them in school. and fell in love with the country. And it really, that experience let us sort of, just change our lives completely and
Completely
reunite.
changed the trajectory. Extraordinary.
What's
And so it was a perfect place for you to settle in and write.
right.
So the
So,
two
and,
books, how are they
Mhm.
different one from the other, the two books that you wrote in the same place?
So the first book is really an account. It's a travel memoir about the year that we were over there, and even though it takes place in Liguria and Genoa, it brings that whole experience alive. But it also talks about family and marriage. That's really the content, the universality of the book. Now, this other book,
Right.
since I love Italy so much, and from that first experience, learned the power, the transformational power of travel, how you can use that to sort of sort yourself out and take a break from life
Mhm.
and think about
Yeah.
things. So the
Yeah.
second book happened a few years later when I went back there by chance with my daughter. And it was right at midlife. I was 49 years old. And again, I used my travel moments to sort of explore how I was feeling and create a travel memoir out of it to show people how can you use travel as a sort of a transformational tool and have fun while you're doing it. That's the whole point.
So tell us a little more about what A Time to Seek talks about. And it talks about obviously your meaning and purpose at midlife and spirituality as well. What is it that you talked about? Was it a very personal to you?
Okay, so basically, this is the story. I was 49, facing the empty nest, changing motherhood, aging parents, aging person. Your marriage is changing, your friendships are changing. It's a really odd time in life. Okay, it's sort of like, what do I do next? Who am I?
Mhm.
And so I was feeling this restlessness, and uh, by chance, my husband he gifted me with this plane ticket to Italy to help my daughter settle into a semester abroad. And she, of course, wasn't too excited about that because who wants your mother tailing along? But I flew over there knowing that I would help her settle in and then I'd disappear. And I would use that time to just kind of wander around and journal and have some fun and just get some emotional space and really chew on what I want to do with the next part of my life. So I
Yeah.
do tackle the big issues of transition,
Right.
all of those things, grieving, dying parents, so I took each one of those themes and wrapped
Right.
it around a travel moment. So it was fun to
Right.
do, very meaningful.
Right. You say that the travel is magical. It's a way to seek, and adventure is a powerful and compelling teacher. What did it teach you?
Right. Well, first of all, when you think about travel, there's two kinds of travel. You have vacation travel, where you plan everything out, and then you have this sort of pilgrimage travel, and where you don't plan anything. You arrive with a journal and a sort of an idea of what you're going to do, but a very loose itinerary, and you wander. And as
Yeah.
you wander, what happens, and as you journaling is a way to open the subconscious. So you've got a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, which is your subconscious carries all of those feelings and emotions. And when you grant yourself that space, when you get some perspective, like, my real life is way over there in America. I'm just going to wander around and think about things. You start to open up that subconscious, and your real feelings about things start to bubble up, and you commit them to the page. You assign words to those feelings, and it allows you to have to change your perspective and to change your paradigm of who am I and what works in my life right now and what do I want
Would
to
you
do.
say would you say there was a whole new definition of wanderlust?
Yeah, I don't think if I hadn't lived in Europe for a year, I wouldn't have understood the power of it. But having lived that, and having that space, that it's really remarkable how much you can learn about yourself when you separate yourself from your daily life and
So
just kind of
what is it you think that Italy gave to you? How was Italy able to give you or gift you with some of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you needed to write these two books?
There's a few things about Italy that I love, and that's why I chose Italy. Okay, number one, it's a very sensual country. Okay, it enlivens and it challenges your senses. You've got this beautiful language, the musicality of the language. You have the food, the beauty, the physical beauty. The
Mhm.
people are warm, and I love the way that they embrace the family. How.
Yeah.
The centrality of the family, and taking time off to eat together, and slowing down, all of those things gifted me,
Yeah.
because American life is hard, and
Yeah.
you're constantly racing, and you don't have the time to sit and think about yourself. You're too
Right.
busy, right?
Right.
But over there, and there's a certain spiritual energy to Florence that absolutely
Yeah.
sent me someplace. You can't deny it. You walk
Yeah.
down those cobblestone streets, and you
Cobblestone. Yeah.
feel the records of the generations are they're just oozing.
Yeah.
It's a very moving place to me. And maybe I'm
Yeah.
crazy.
No, no,
It
no. Oh,
affects
no.
me.
I think no, I don't think so. I think Italy is one of the travel destinations par excellence, and for most people in the world. It's either France or Italy. So I don't think you're crazy at all. And then that would make me just a lunatic because I lived there for 30 years. So let's just say that, shall we? And I do love, like you said, the sacrosanctity of Sundays being it's time for family, it's time for faith, it's time for food, it's time for soccer, which isn't an F word, but I tried. It's time for sports. It's just time to be home, stay home, and sort of well, I want to say regroup as a family, or just be together. That one time a week where family takes precedence over everything else. I think is just an extraordinary Italian trait. And by the way, they do it here in the United States too. I'm in touch with Italians all the time. That
But
they are.
one of the things that I love so much is watching people stroll together, like couples stroll together in the evenings, and and they chat, and the families are together. I mean, I
Yeah.
loved that, but
Yeah.
I don't see enough of that
They call
here.
it, yeah, they call it lo struscio. And lo struscio is just really just sort of it's like it means literally translated. I believe it means to rub, if I remember correctly. And it's just I think it's just that very that sort of pace, as you said, on the cobblestones, just sort of taking your time as an after lunch or a big meal, kind of let's walk it off and talk it off together. I think that's it's extraordinary. I love it, absolutely. So let's talk about your craft, okay? So as when I read your book. And I've read some passages are extraordinary. I feel like I was there, or I can smell the smells, I can taste the tastes. How is it that you craft your wording in such a way that it brings it so much to life?
Well, I mean, the whole fun about travel memoir is that people get to armchair travel. All right. So as a writer, you have certain tools that enable you to bring that to life on the page. So first of all, when you're there as the traveler, you keep a very close, a lot of notes. Okay. And the thing is, you learn as a writer to see the world with the eyes of an artist. And what that means is you don't just kind of glance. When you look at things, you assign exact diction to color and sound and all of the senses. So it's nothing is generalized.
Right.
Your job is to recreate in detail. And the other
Right.
thing too, the other tool that a writer uses, it's called writing in scene rather than summary. So when you write in scene, you slow the motion down to writing as time passes, like in the moment, so that the reader can kind of climb into the book with you and walk along with you, because you're writing in that's you slow it down. Summarizing is like, sitting on a bench next to someone and saying, hey, yeah, I had a great Saturday, but you're not really in the day with them. Okay.
Right.
So effective travel memoir is written and seen so that the person can be with you at the moment.
And this is why you are an award-winning writer. But I really am excited to get to your retreat, because I know that last year you were not able to do the retreat, or you did it online, but usually you get together for your writer's retreat. And I love it where you're saying you want to write, breathe, create, be inspired, and enrich your writer's soul. I think that's so great. And you're going to be up in Pennsylvania, my old stomping grounds. Is kind of where I was born, in Philadelphia. So it's called Endless Mountains, and it's in September from the 23rd to the 27th. Please do tell us all. How exciting.
Well, over the last few years, I love to take writers on retreat at least once a year. As a writer, from the writer's point of view, it's very important to gift yourself time to concentrate on your craft, number one, alone time, away from life, in a beautiful place, okay? Number two, it's really important to be around your tribe, to get into a room with 10 other writers and really talk about your craft, and to have that space to react to each other's work and to share. So the first few years I took people back to Italy, okay, and that was fabulous. And then for a few years, we went to Santa Fe, again, fabulous. So we thought we'd try something more on the East Coast. Eaglesmere, Pennsylvania is up in the northwest part of Pennsylvania, and it is a beautiful throwback to like the 50s. So big old homes. And
it's a beautiful old home. Yeah, you have to get over there. Absolutely. And you can get over to SusanPohlman.com. You can get more information about her writer's retreat there. But this old home is really beautiful. I mean, it's one of those old, big, rambling, never ends, front yard, backyard. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I hope that we're way past COVID by then, and that everybody can finally get back together, because that would be really great. Who is this writer's retreat for, Susan?
You know what? It's the curriculum really applies to any writer, whether you're just starting out or whether you are an old pro. It's just about developing voice, looking at different genres, actually, or bringing your own work. It's created so that we have time together as a group, and a lot of time alone for you to work on your craft. Also, just time to be in nature and to refresh your soul. Again, just like with the transformational travel, when you're away, when you're in nature, your stories bubble up. Okay, they come out, and it's very peaceful. So it's for everyone, for anyone who wants to get away and be with other writers.
Is there an application process?
Basically just sending me an email, and we chat on the phone, and we make sure it's a good fit for you. I talk everything through so that you feel confident and safe coming. So that's basically it. We talk it through. Know each other.
So is somebody coming there when they have an idea already and they just want to expand upon that and create the book? Or is there even like somebody can come and go, I really don't know what I want to talk about, but I'm going to go to this retreat and I'll come out with the topic and idea and my book?
Sure. You can do whatever, I mean, you control your time. We offer certain things. I work with another award-winning writer, Wendy Lynn Harris, who's fabulous. And so the two of us together, we teach craft in the mornings. Come if you want. Most people do. And then you can use your own project in the craft talks. So if we give you an assignment, just use your own project, or if you don't have a project, great. That's fine. The assignments are generative. They're to help you create.
Fantastic. How exciting. Oh, I love that. I love the whole idea of it. That's wonderful. I do want to remind everybody that you can find Susan at SusanPohlman.com, and you can see it on the ticker below the video, or you can find her on Facebook at Susan.Pohlman, Twitter at Susan Pohlman, or you can get her over on Instagram.com, Susan Pohlman. Pretty simple stuff. It's not hard at all. Susan, thank you so much
for your patience with me and for coming on to the show today. We had some technical issues. I mentioned at the beginning last time we tried to get together. So everybody, you know, if you're writing, you've asked the question many times, and now I brought the best of the best. So you're going to want to make sure to get in touch with Susan. Susan, thank you again so much. You stay right there, and I'll say goodbye to everybody. And we'll give you an appointment again at the top of the hour. We'll see you at 2 o'clock MST, 1 o'clock PST, and that would make it what, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock EST? Yeah, 4 o'clock EST. All right, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the In the Limelight podcast, intelligent media for the savvy entrepreneur. You can listen to this and all of my podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, and Inspired News Radio. You'll find all of my videos and the In the Limelight digital magazine on ClarissaBurt.com. And don't forget to connect with me on social pretty much anywhere. Stay well until we meet again in the Limelight.